you would ramp the blower in concert with the compressor RPM. Well, that's exactly what our machine, and ours is superior. Trust me, at zoning.
I'm not arguing that.
Trust me, I believe that. Our machine is superior, but our outdoor unit actually tells the indoor unit what to do. That's the, the blower speed is controlled. Now we're reading several different factors every 4 seconds. There's input to the controls every 4 seconds, and, indoor temp, outdoor temp, humidity, indoor humidity, the demand, if you want to call it that, the load value. If you walk in and drop the temperature down 10 degrees, obviously it says, hey, we're behind, let's crank up, and the compressor cranks up and the blower follows. Now, depending on the indoor humidity condition, it may or may not follow real fast or real slow, or so, whatever's going to be optimal for everything. And anticipation also comes into that. Like the design of our system, I say our, I'm just a trained guy. See, got it on my shirt. Wait a minute.
Do you? Yeah. All right.
There it is.
Seems legit. Yeah, you got the shirt.
But, I say our, but, the design of the system is really not to turn off and satisfy. It's to get close and just hover very low and very long and quiet cycle. And that lends to some really good dehumidification and some comfort and quiet operation, and also lends very well to operating cost part of efficiency. Now, to me, part of the efficiency is the dependability and how long it lasts. I don't care if your car gets 100 miles to the gallon. If it only runs for a week at a time, it's not very efficient. So, the cost up front to buy it has to be part of the efficiency, in my opinion, not just the runtime, not just the runtime, but that's the overall design. Hence why it's so terrible to have this discharge air temperature sensor just on and off your compressor to death. Half of your system really is ready to be zoned.
I think you're right. I mean, what I've done is I've made do with what is there, and it's sufficient, but that sufficiency isn't optimal. Obviously, it can go up a little bit. And variable speed, you said something like, in the chat was saying something about variable speed blowers matching with the compressor RPM. And to me, that's good. But another thing would be that the intelligence of the unit can say, all right, we can match up, or we can vary that blower speed slightly lower or higher compared to the compressor RPM if we need to tweak dehumidification, stuff like that, which I think is very smart. But
and
the
load
doesn't
value,
do that. Absolutely.
Load value and demand. And, it's like, hey, I'd love to dehumidify some a little more efficiently right now, but actually we're way behind in temperature. So let's put a bunch of volume through this place and let's catch up some temperature, and we'll deal with the humidity some while we're doing that, but we'll really seriously dehumidify when we ramp down and start to hover.
All right, guys, something that I had been sent by Ralph. It's going to be interesting if Ralph sends me something. It's like a link, and I have to be wary of Ralph's links because you never know where you're going to end up, typically on Facebook with somebody arguing in traffic or something. But this was actually something I was familiar with, but it's just this is funny to me. But let's take a look at this. This is actually the Midea 8,000 BTU U-shaped air conditioner. Now, I think this thing is really neat, and I'm not trying to be stupid or something right here. It's a window air conditioner, and we're all air conditioning specialists, and I'm not saying that these things are going to replace all of us, but this is an interesting machine because it is actually something where, let me see if I can bring up the picture here. It's U-shaped, so the window that you put it in actually shuts in between the compressor and the evaporator section. I think that's brilliant. It makes it a lot quieter, and it makes it just a lot better because you can open and shut the window while the thing is sitting in the window, which I think is pretty cool. But here's the interesting part for me. This is why I bring it up. Window air conditioning is not an efficient system. Typically, the EERs are like 9 or 10 or something like that. the ones that I was familiar with are like 9 or 10. This thing is much different. This is 8,000 BTU U-shaped air conditioner. The model number is MAW08V1QWT. And they probably sell it on Amazon or whatever. It says 3-step installation. I watched a video on installation. There's a lot more than 3 steps. There's all this crap you got to put together, so I don't know about that. It says it's 42 decibels. That's on like low speed though, and then it goes up to like almost 50 decibels. But 42 is pretty quiet. Anybody who's ever had a window unit out knows that's relatively quiet compared to most window units. This is crazy. And powerful, quick cooling. I'm skipping all that crap because that's I'm just going to go to specifications. So I'm looking at the full specifications here. It's 8,000 BTU. Now here's the part that took my attention. Check this out. They call it CEER. I don't know what that means. I think about SEER. 15 BTUs per hour per watt. That's 15 SEER. So if you think of 15 SEER, most of the time, if the person hasn't upgraded to a nice new system, you slap a few of those in there, theoretically it should be more efficient than the air conditioner you have installed. Which is kind of funny because typically they are not very efficient. Also, you get 250 CFM on high and low is 150 CFM, but it has R32 refrigerant, which I thought was pretty interesting as well. So many of the things out there have R32 refrigerant, and it makes you think that why didn't it just go with R32 for everybody? They should just gone with R32 for everybody. Everything else is pretty standard stuff. I didn't see anything that kind of jumped out. It's not that big, 21 by 19 by 13. It's got a 1-year parts and labor warranty. Wow, that's not bad. Well, since we're here, let's look at the 12,000 BTU real quick. Man, oh man, let's see here. Ultra quiet. I'm just curious how quiet it is. I know this is kind of goofy, but I just had to find out. I want to know the specifications. Did I hit that right? Full specifications. Let's see. 15, yeah, it says 15 SEER on that one too. Doesn't do heating. That's fine, whatever. It's not perfect for sure. And has 277 CFM. And that's another thing I wonder. How are these machines set up where you have 277 CFM instead of like 350 or 400? That's what I was thinking. It's kind of weird. I'm not sure. Let's see here. I don't think there's anything else interesting about these, but I thought that it was pretty trippy. And of course, the reviews on here are going to be like, hey, these things are the best. I've never seen anything better than this. These are awesome. Question from Mike HVAC. Just kind of a quick brand question. What's everybody's preferred brand to sell or service? Which I think, Dallas, if you don't say Rheem, I'm going to question.
Rheem.
Better not say Bosch, Dallas.
Give it time. Bosch will grow on you in a desert environment. It's going to be these are great.
I'll keep you updated. I'll do a couple customer interviews. Like, tell me about the Bosch system, how much you like it.
Oh, yeah. That's so helpful.
A nice commercial. So, I love my Bosch.
No, I'm waiting for one of those circuit boards to go out in it. I wonder how long it'll take to get one of those.
Don't worry, there's 7 out on that ship in the LA harbor. You just gotta swim out there to get it.
Yeah,
Dallas, if you could just get in your little raft and head out.
Yeah, exactly.
They make them on demand. They just build them in China. As soon as you order it, they start building, and then they put it on the boat. So I think it's like a month or 2. They ship the Ameristar parts with it, so it's real fast.
I don't like the Goodman units. I'll tell you that much.
We're gonna get along just fine.
Yeah. Taking the condenser fan motors off, and then bing, 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 bing. Then you got to put it all back on again.
Bing, 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 bing.
The blooming onion.
The
blooming onion. Yeah, pretty much.
It's time for a redesign. I mean, Goodman's had that for, 2006 is when that unit came out.
And then they changed the
the tan ones were like that too. The tan ones before those were the same way.
The ones they have now, it's time for a redesign. I mean,
yeah,
they're like,
well, they took the corner posts out to make it less stable.
Yeah, they're always redesign. Like Goodman. I've gone to the factory tour a couple of times. They're always so proud of themselves to point out the fact that they could, we have it down to a science of exactly how much paint it takes.
Oh, yeah.
And then like some I promise you, they're probably we have it down to a science, like how
they think
thin that
nobody else
metal can
does?
get, because it's like a razor blade now. And when they come on, the whole unit goes like because the whole thing kind of like so
Then we gotta change
guys, I think you found the limit and you went a little bit too far.
Yeah.
You
Come
gotta
back on
change
this
the
side.
dryer out too on those things. Is a big pain.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Oh my God, they need to refocus on that too.
Not as bad as Lennox though. I'll say
Yeah.
Yeah,
that.
I have a
I will
Lennox, and
say
I
that.
changed my dryer out, and it was not fun.
Yeah. They wonder why people don't change them out.
Yeah.
I moved
Just put in that second one.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. It's only been open to the atmosphere for a couple of minutes. We're
Just
good.
point the arrows toward each other. That's how they're supposed to be oriented.
Yeah.
They cancel each other out.
Yes, that's right.
Exactly. But to answer that question that was asked, I would say my favorite would be Train to Service, because they have really good wiring schematics, and most of their units are really service friendly, except for the water source units.
Yeah.
Yeah. The aforementioned water source. Now, are you referring to like larger stuff though? Because you work on a lot of larger stuff, or is that in general?
I think all of their stuff's pretty service friendly.
I think so. I think it's pretty good. Yeah, as far as I can recall.
The heat pumps, look where the reversing valve is. On the smaller ones, it's the easiest one to get to.
Yeah.
Not the easiest one, but it is nice.
What's easier than the Train ones? Well,
Ream.
the old Ream coffin style
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Come
They
on,
don't
you
even
gotta
make
give
those
it to
anymore,
that.
though, right?
No, they don't.
But yeah, those were nice.
I like those the best. They were
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Why'd they have to change that? I mean, now they're kind of nice. I mean, I
Yeah.
still like them, but the old ones, man, that was like, this is the
Well-
best. You know, it got dirty in there, but besides that, I liked it.
You know what was weird though? The older Reams, right? They had that coffin style condenser that was super service friendly, and then they had the cube style where everything was jammed in that.
It's like the opposite.
Yeah.
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 And the package units are the same way. They had the rectangular one where everything was super easy to get to, and then they have the cube ones that I just hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The key ones, you just take the door off and throw the start kit in and shut the door real quick.
Just throw it in there like a grenade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a booby trap for the next guy.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, the capacitor, the capacitor went through a hole they drilled in the panel. So if you didn't get the exact same circumference one, there's like literally nowhere to mount it in there.
Yeah.
You're like moving stuff around, and I had to do it on one the other day, and I'm like, why do they do this? I even bought a round one, and I was hoping it was the same diameter, but nope.
Yeah. I feel your pain on that one. Yeah.
Tech tip: I found the little plates. That's like the little metal plate to take the smaller one on supplyhouse.com.
Yeah.
It's a
The
ream.
metal plates. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ream part number.
Really?
Yes.
Those are really cool.
And they're very common. Mars fits it really nice.
I didn't know they sold baffles and stuff to put different capacitors in there. I just had cut something out of sheet metal.
Yeah,
Know how to do
Ream,
it.
I used to
That
make
it's
them.
hard. That's not easy though. I mean, what do you got?
No, it
Like, you're gonna
sucked.
use? Yeah, you're gonna use a hole saw.
You'd have
No.
to use You'd have to use offset snips.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
golly.
Trace,
It was
I bet
offset.
that
the
looked choice.
capacitor. Trace,
Oh, yeah.
Well, if you know how to use tin snips.
I get paid about an hour.
A 3-inch unibit.
You gonna do like a 2-inch hole with tin snips?
I like. Would you
With
say a
offset.
3-inch unibit? Is that out there somewhere? I'm gonna get me a 3-inch unibit. That'd be awesome. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I guess you could take the. I guess you could take the box off and turn it upside down and kind of, if you had time, probably the easiest way to do it.
Yeah, because the older ones were the same way. Didn't they have a hole cut and you just
Yeah.
stuck down through the bottom of
Yeah,
it? So you
yeah,
had the
yeah.
same problem. You could like bombs away. Whoop. Oh,
Yeah.
too small.
Now the
Yeah.
turbos fit that hole. If it's the bigger one, that fits
Yeah.
that perfectly.
So now we got to buy some $50 capacitor.
Or buy that little $3 plate.
Is that what they want for
I guess the
$3?
$3 plate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what do you answer calls on? Okay, because you got to remind me because some of the nomenclature I don't remember. Is it? You just tell me. What do you answer calls on? What type of
So-
machines?
95% of everything I do is Mitsubishi, right?
Mhm.
And then the Goodman stuff is, the other 5%.
That's so weird. So why don't you answer too many Goodman calls? You figured there'd
I
be
don't
plenty
know.
of Goodman calls.
So the thing about our sales guys, a lot of the sales guys field a lot of the calls, right? So I don't get as many Goodman calls. So we have a guy in Virginia. That's all he does is Goodman, and he is busy all day long. All day long.
You know,
But
I would think
remember-
that Goodman's easier to figure out. I mean, than
Yeah,
a Mitsubishi, because it's more specialized, what you're talking about, than what a good. We've been around that Goodman style stuff our whole life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's a collection of
Yeah,
relays.
no. But remember what I told you earlier before. I'd rather take 15 Mitsubishi calls than one Goodman call. And it's not. See, even Jessica called me one time.
I remember she mentioned that you helped her
And,
out. Because I asked her,
yeah,
she was
yeah,
on the air. I asked her, I said, "Did he help you?" And she goes, "Yeah, he solved the problem."
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I so a lot of our sales guys, they've been around for a while, so they kind of field some of the calls for me. But like I told you before, I'd rather have 15 Mitsubishi calls than one Goodman call. And the reason for that is because it's hard to get past. It's hard for a guy to get past himself in order for me to help him.
On the Goodman call.
On the Goodman calls, right? Because their ego gets shot down if they, I'm asking them to do something. Well, they don't want to do it, right?
What's the difference between the two people, though, that's calling?
Because when you open a mini split up, what do you see?
A lot of crap.
Boards and wires, right? Boards and wires.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff that happens with mini splits. And so guys are like, well, they're more apt to let me help them.
Yeah, because they're at a loss. You're not going to know. Just like what you just said about your brain having a boundary line and some of the stuff lives outside of it and you just look it up.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's how I see mini splits. You can't remember all that crap. So you're going to have to look it up.
There's a lot of times, there is a trust but verified, right? And so there's a lot of times that I do know the answer to your question. But I'm going to go on Link Drive and get the answer. And then sometimes you go on Link Drive to try to find an error code or something like that. And that error is not there. So you're like, well, where do I go now? Well, then I have to go to the next series up to see if it's there. And if it's not there, well, maybe I need to go to the next series past that to get it. So some of these little M&P error codes will be in the city multi manuals, the big VRF stuff, because they're all the same.
Right.
The error codes are all the same. It's just some of them are numbered, some of them are lettered. Some of them don't happen all the time on the M&P stuff, but every once in a while they will happen, and it'll throw a city multi-code.
That's interesting. And how would anybody know that was working out in the field?
You wouldn't.
Until you
That's
call
what guys,
you.
That's what guys like me get paid to do. Or
Okay.
it only has to happen one time for them to know that, hey, I need to go here. And you know what that's called?
Learning experience.
Experience.
But I woke up, realized that I'm a hack.